Because they haven't been held by a femboy yet. Woo woo. Let's watch this.
1-year anniversary to my male loneliness epidemic video.
Nice.
I'm happy to announce that since that video uploaded,
More
the
vtuber
discourse has
content.
greatly improved. People
Oh,
all around
shit.
the world are taking
Really?
men's
I
issues
don't
more
believe you.
seriously, and the
Nope,
gender
they
war has
don't.
finally come to an end. Just kidding, everything has gotten worse.
Well, at least you guys have femboys taking your problems into serious now. Even if you don't have a girlfriend, you can still have a femboyfriend.
And nobody has learned anything. From the witches on The View cackling about how men are useless.
Nothing changed, no one learned anything. Yes, you
Men
do.
are useless. I mean,
To women
It's okay, guys. The femboys still need men. The femboys still need their men. It's okay.
online saying they'd rather be stranded in the woods with a bear than a man.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
It depends on the bear and the man. Like, man, is that a femboy? And the bear, like, is that the kind of bear you find in a gay bar? In a bear night? Difficult question.
The bear. Bear. It seems that things have gotten more toxic than ever, and the gender divide couldn't be any wider, especially politically.
In 2008, 58% of young people leaned Democratic.
In the entire
2012,
world,
53%.
the divide,
And in the last two
divide
major
between
election
men and
years,
women are
that
getting
percentage
worse and
held
worse.
steady at 55%. But in 2023, that number dipped below 50% for the first time since 2005.
That's bad.
And you'll notice right here,
Division
they
is
started
bad
to
for
lean more
society.
Republican. And that's partly because of one specific group, young men.
This happens in Europe as well, by the way. In Europe, in Middle East, in the entire world. I guess I don't really know, like, men are lonely, they are insecure about their future, they are fearful about their future, and naturally, they become right-wing. Because right-wing feeds on fear and insecurities, and since young men are getting more insecure and more fearful for their future, they are becoming right-wing. It's like the most natural thing that could have happened.
Okay, I know I said I was gonna focus on the gender war and not talk about politics for a while. However,
But
I
both of
found
them
a
are
loophole.
interconnected.
Politics is talking about gender war. With this election being hailed by the media as the man versus woman election, according to any and
Man
all data
versus
coming
man.
out recently, men all around the world have
Man, South Korea is fucked. Like, what the fuck is going on with South Korea? What's up with South Korea, man? I can see the US, Germany, UK. Like, UK is still liberal, I think. But Germany, US, South Korea, goddamn.
shifted more right, and women have shifted more left. But women going more left was not the focus of
Politicians
this
dividing
month's
people.
outrage.
Politicians dividing people, control them. It's nothing too complicated, to be honest. Politicians always divide people to control them.
Outrage, of course, was about men. That's right, we got our yearly, oh no, what is happening to men? Why are they moving to the right freak out? But unlike last year, this freak out isn't solely happening on
Listen, if people are grumbling about something, if they are if people are complaining about something, why not try listening to them? You know, try listening to their problems, try finding solutions to them instead of insulting them or calling them entitled or some shit like that. Like, it's not that hard, you know. If people are complaining about something, then there is a problem. If people aren't complaining about it, then there is no problems.
the internet, no. It's also happening in Washington, D.C.
There are only 46 days until Election Day, and the Harris-Walz campaign is struggling to appeal to a group of voters
Oh, they did lost
that
young men
could
vote.
determine the outcome of the election, and that is men.
The Harris campaign is making an aggressive last-minute effort to win over
I love men.
younger male voters.
Am I really gonna make a video criticizing the
Do it.
Democratic Party
Do it,
days
do it, do it,
before the
do it, do it.
election? Of course I am. Now, before you celebrate or grab your
Dude, the moment you lose self-criticism, the moment you lose your ability to reflect on yourself, the moment, like, you know, a political party, a political movement becomes so full of itself, when it starts denying change, when it starts when it starts to refuse to adapt to the situation, they start declining. They start losing power. Like, Democrats should criticize themselves more if they want to win an election.
Pitchforks. This is not a pro-Trump video. This is a do better video. This is a mommy's not mad, she's disappointed video.
Mommy.
Actually, I lied. Mommy's pretty mad. In this video,
Femboys love their mommies.
I am going to be addressing
And
the
daddies.
Democrats' so-called man problem, the recent discourse about men moving right, the last-minute pandering the Democratic Party is doing to get them back, what they could be doing instead, and of course going over some terrible opinions. Not my opinions. I have never had a bad opinion in my—
By the way, guys, if I say something that offends you, I'm joking. If that's you don't agree with me, that is. If you agree with me, then I'm serious. Otherwise, I'm joking.
life. Except that one opinion. We don't talk about that one opinion. In a world where it seems like everything men do and like is toxic, from eating meat to working out to even having a beard. Oh wait, that reminds me.
Loving a femboy, being held by a gentle femboy, isn't toxic. It's okay, just let a femboy hug you. You will feel all the toxicity leaving your body.
Before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Henson Shaving. If you've used a multi-blade razor, you're probably familiar with this story. Irritation, razor burns, and maybe even ingrown hair. Studies show 2/3 of men experience some form of irritation after shaving. It's something they just expect at the
Femboys need this. Femboys need better shaving equipment. It's just a fact.
They deal with overpriced blades, irritated skin, and think that's just the way it has to be. Until now. Henson Shaving is on a mission to improve shaving with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. Their razors are made with solid aluminum, making them not only durable, but environmentally friendly too. There's no plastic involved at all, even in the packaging.
Nice. No more microplastics in my balls when I shave them. Finally. Are microplastics in my balls? Is that why I have is that why I'm a femboy? Is it microplastics? Is this why I'm like this? Am I weird because of microplastics? I don't know.
And the blades are fully recyclable. What really sets Henson apart is their engineering, with their Henson AL-13 safety razor being manufactured in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station. This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. The razor prevents any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave every time. Henson even partnered with a medical imaging startup, and results indicated that the Henson AL-13 razor significantly reduces razor burn in comparison to conventional multi-blade razors. Since I switched to using Henson as my go-to razor brand, my shaves have been more silky and smoother than ever. No more burns or cuts, just a close shave that feels amazing. In other words, no more leg beard. The best part is, once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you need to repurchase are the blades, which only cost 10 cents each. 10 cents. So once you own a Henson razor, you'll only be spending $3 to $5 a year on blades, compared to the ongoing cost of buying those expensive plastic cartridges. Henson store offers a variety of colors, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style. So head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and use my special discount SHOE at checkout to get 100 blades for free with your purchase of a Henson razor. Your skin and your environment will thank you. Big thank you to Henson for sponsoring this video, and thank you for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right? And now, let's get back to the video. If you are a regular viewer to the Shoe on Head channel, first of all, I'm sorry. But also, you know by now, I have been documenting the internet and society in general's growing and widely accepted hatred of men.
We need internet
this has been happening for a very long time.
But yeah,
and if you dare
have been
spoke up about it, you were
quite
called an incel or a pick-me, depending on your gender. But seemingly, almost out of nowhere, there has been a change of heart.
Don't worry.
You know, I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country. I think that plays out different ways.
Femboys will solve this crisis.
But I think we need to have a real conversation about that.
Wow, that's interesting. Mainstream media talking about this? I wonder why they care so much now. Democrats fear Harris losing too many male voters to Trump. Oh. Signs have been mounting that, for the first time in recent decades, Democrats may lose majority support from young men in 2024. The risk to Democrats is that this is not just a one-time fluke, but an
in the last election it was already 50-50. Now it's even worse. Bro, it can't be that hard to cater to young people or men. Just listen to their problems and solve them. Or at least stop judging them. It can't be that hard.
Of growing trouble with men in coming elections. Democrats can celebrate the support they are getting from young women, but they also need to take the disaffection of young men seriously, engage them directly, and respond to the visions of manhood and masculinity that Donald Trump and JD Vance are offering. Alright Kamala, you got 2 weeks to reverse anti-male propaganda and resentment fueled by our government, media, and institutions. How you gonna do it? Harris campaign creating space for white dudes.
Space for white dudes.
Oh, that's a great idea. I mean, a little too late, but I'm glad you're finally doing to be honest about role in history.
To be honest about the role in history. This is stupid.
Oh. It's always a space for white men to talk about how much they suck.
What made you start this group, White
This
Dudes
guy
for
looks so
Harris?
weird.
And I suspect some of it has
What's
to
up
do
with
with
this guy?
the polling.
Yeah,
What's up
for
with you?
far too long, the left has
You
essentially
look like the
ceded
uncanny
white men
version of Hassan
to the MAGA
Piker.
right. There's large parts of the left who have
White dudes for
gone out of their
Harris.
way to alienate white men over the last couple of years. And that's understandable in many ways. We decided that we wanted to create space for white men to be a part of electing Vice President Harris.
At the top of the call, White Dudes for Harris organizer Ross Morales Roquito said he wanted to address what he called the elephant in the room, criticism surrounding an event organized for white men given the country's history of racism. A lot of people felt
So
uncomfortable.
that's what you're doing. You're creating a space for white dudes just to complain about how racist those white dudes are. Dude, those white dudes are just normal, average people. They don't hate anybody. Like, listen, an entire racial group is not racist. I bet majority of them isn't even racist. Just, you know, stop calling people racist over random bullshit, please.
About the call, he said. Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on. They can't even have their gay little Zoom call where they circle about hating themselves without their own movement going, yikes! A bunch of white males in one space? Seems kind of like the KKK. Black people can have their little groups and that's fine, but if a bunch of white people get together, well, that's just called BreadTube.
BreadTube?
Never mind.
What's
White
BreadTube?
Dudes for Harris. I mean, she's doing pretty bad with Latinos, too. What's next? Hombres con Harris?
Hombres con Harris? Oh no.
Oh. So basically, men are leaving the Democratic Party in droves, and it's not looking too good for the Democrats. So it wasn't long until everyone's favorite discourse hit Twitter again. If Kamala loses, which is very possible, there needs to be a real discussion about how Democrats
The
speak
site
to
where
and
the
reach young
human
men.
dumpster
If
ends up finding
Kamala
itself.
loses. If she wins, there doesn't have to be discussion. We shouldn't change anything. Clearly,
Twitter
we're
is
doing
just
everything right. To be clear, I'm not saying we need to
thehumandumpster.com
worry
at this
about
point.
women less or change any positions. I'm saying the polling around young men is concerning, and if it turns out to be true, we need to have a discussion about how condescending we are coming off to a huge part of the electorate.
Oh,
to be
shit.
clear, I'm not saying we have to change anything, I'm just wondering why men aren't voting for us. What? I am gonna
Bro, just trying to convince people isn't enough. You actually need to listen to those people, listen to their problems, and like propose solutions to those problems. Like, instead of telling people that they are the problem, how about solving their problems? You know, you don't go around telling people that they are the problem like this. If people are grumbling about something, if they are talking about something, there's a reason, okay? It means there's a problem that you are ignoring.
regret posting this so hard. And oh boy did he! The replies were insane, to say the least. I must admit, I cringed reading most of this. I feel that one thing you didn't address is the systemic entitlement bestowed upon white men in the
entitlement,
US.
of course.
That sense of entitlement,
The
that
entitled
privilege they
white
felt
McDonald's
for eternity is eroding.
workers.
Systemic
Please shut
entitlement
up.
they have felt for eternity. They're like 22 years old. The f do you mean eternity? Who is this like
Please shut up.
200-year-old man?
Like, yeah, she's right. She's absolutely right. Shuanhead is absolutely right. Like, bro, it's just a fucking McDonald's worker. It's just your average wagey. What are they entitled to? Just leave people alone, dude. Jesus.
So, young men are
Oh my
snowflakes
God.
with hurt fifis because they're not the center of attention anymore. Got
It's
it.
always
so
about
are
the
they
attention.
poor little snowflakes,
Of course.
boo-hoo, or are they scary fascists that are gonna turn America into the Handmaid's
Nice
Tale?
one.
Because they can't be both. You either care about the future, or you don't. You cannot simultaneously
Jingle,
hand
jingle,
wave
jingle,
away men moving to fascism, but also fearmonger about it. Hi, man here. Maybe men just need to stop being absolute pieces of dog shit. It seems like the easiest thing to do, right? I
Of
don't feel
course, just call
alienated or
half of the
uncomfortable
men
with democratic messaging because I'm not a
piece of
complete
dog
wannabe
shit. Of
fascist
course, of
cheese dick
course.
incel loser who thinks he's the good guy. Reddit and its consequences have
Of
been a
course.
disaster for
It's
the
an
male
incel
race.
cheese dick
They just need to
loser
get off
if
their
they don't
asses,
side
stop
with
playing
me.
video games, and get real jobs.
If men are having problems, they are just incel cheese dick male wastes. That's what it is, right? Bro, fuck off, please. Like, listen to men's problems. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to just sit and listen to people's problems. It's not that hard. I swear.
First of all, what?
I fucking hate boomers, by the way. Be a Democrat, be a Republican. These motherfuckers always act so condescending and so hateful. Shut the fuck up. You are literally the worst fucking generation. You are the reason why the world is shit. You are the weak generation, you fucking boomer.
Real jobs. These guys are coming out of college with useless diplomas and there are no jobs. Also, what an out-of-touch boomer-ass take. Get off your ass and stop playing those video games from the generation who watches TV 24/7. I don't want to hear it. Tell them to get therapy. Tell them whatever you told or gave to women in the 1950s. They made this bed, let them sleep alone in it. Or be f***ing better men. Any other group of people and it's, oh, boo-hoo, poor baby, let me rewire all of society so your feelings aren't hurt. And then with men it's, get therapy. Be f***ing better. While there is truth
Be
in
fucking
messaging needs to be better
man.
from Democrats.
It's okay. I will be better for you. Even if nobody loves you. The femboys will love you, my dear men.
As a whole, I reject that telling young men they need to be better is the problem. They are trash in their nature, and if they can't do the work to
Oh
not
my
be
fucking
toxic waste
God.
of seed, that's on them. Vote for my team, by the way. We may not want to hear
You don't get votes like this, by the way. You don't convince people to vote for you by calling them trash, worthless, or, you know, anything similar. That's not how it works.
it, but this is what the data reflects. There is a massive loneliness epidemic in this country which is disproportionately affecting men. Instead of calling them incels or mocking them, we should be willing to hear out their concerns.
Yes, we should.
Wow, a surprisingly good tweet in
We
a
should.
sea of bullshit. That's nice to see. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you're a straight white man, so yeah, go do something about it. Why are you guys bothering the rest of us with this? I can't figure it out. Because I would like for Democrats to win the election. Why do you care about men
course.
suffering? Because I want to win the election. Amazing. This is the
I
issue
think
right
she's
here.
right.
Start
You need to see people as people and not numbers.
seeing men as people and not numbers in polls. That
You
is
gotta be a
step
little
one.
bit of
You can't even
emotional,
do
you know.
step one.
You gotta
Anyway,
care
there
about
were
people's
thousands of these
feelings a
kind of
little.
tweets in response to this guy. You get it. We've seen it all before. If I went through all of them, this video would be 3 hours long. White dudes for Harris wasn't the only strange attempt the Democrats threw out at the last second to get the male vote.
Hey, white dudes. So,
Hey,
I
white
think we're all
dudes.
pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies.
I mean, dude, some people are a problem, but you can't go around telling shit like, you know, all these people are the problem. Like, you listen. Like, just because a minority of people are problematic doesn't mean you can demonize an entire fucking demographic. You shouldn't do that.
Out there making it worse.
I don't think.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
By the way, I don't think Trump is going to help men or anything. I don't think he's going to do anything that's going to improve men's lives. I just don't think he will do anything. If it does, well, good for men. If it doesn't, well, that's just what I'm expecting.
Years of these people saying men suck and are the problem, and now they're like, hey fellow men, are you sick of being told you suck and are the problem? The audacity! Apparently, Kamala Harris has a secret weapon to win over male voters.
A good politician means to be able to lie, by the way. Sadly, that's just a fact. Being a good politician means being able to lie.
Kamala Harris is turning to her running mate, Tim Walz, hoping he is the secret weapon who can chip away at Donald Trump's support from men.
Much like how Trump chose Pence to win over the more establishment Republican voters, Kamala seems to have chosen Tim Walz to try and win over the white male vote. And boy are they trying. Now, I don't hate Tim Walz. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised when they chose him over Josh Shapiro. I like a lot of his policies, like his universal school lunch policy. That's an amazing policy. You'd have to be an insane freak to disagree with that. Or a libertarian. But I repeat myself. And there were a few times where he was speaking where I completely forgot he was running to be Kamala's VP and not president himself. And he actually brought a lot of energy to the Democratic stage for once.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, Jim Walz, Biden just stepping down from the race, that gave Democrats a lot of energy. That gave Democrats a lot of much needed energy. But you know what? It just wasn't enough to win the election. They just fumbled way too hard.
So what the f was this? Putting out a bunch of ads of Tim Walz changing the air filter in a car, clumsily shooting a gun, and drawing a political football play-by-play. Trotting out Walz like some kind of...
Isn't this funny? Like the fact that VTubers always react to stuff like this, you know? Reacting to guns, reacting to... I don't know. Like things men do, men versus women videos, meme videos, and like gun videos, history videos. Things women like, things men like. I should do the same. I should also react to those
a minstrel show of a white man. Like a man dressing up like a man for Halloween. You don't gotta do all this, bro, I promise you. And they don't shy away about how that...
What am I gonna be for the next Halloween? I'm gonna dress as a man for the next Halloween. So funny. That's how demonized men are.
That's exactly what they are trying to do. Tim Walz is clearly a Midwest man's man, but he's the antidote to toxic MAGA masculinity. Despite his typically masculine resume as a Midwestern football coach and veteran, Walz is utilizing those qualities to push forward a more progressive, compassion-based form of masculinity. Part of being a vice president is understanding that you are just that, someone who is there to aid and support the president. Walz simply being there on the ticket with a woman and taking a back seat to his running mate, Vice President Kamala Harris, is him embracing his leadership role in a positive masculine way. Football coach and cheerleader. How Tim Walz is...
Of course, Tim Walz. The positive masculine figure. You can be... The only time you are positive masculine figure is when you are supporting women, when you are being cheerleaders for them. Otherwise, you are just a toxic man. Fuck off, man. Fuck off.
Defining masculinity. Amy Deal, a sexism researcher and author of the 2023 book Glass Walls, told USA Today that men like Walz who are intentional about rejecting traits and beliefs commonly dubbed as toxic masculinity are the tonic to harmful stigma associated with expectations of men and boys. He shows you can be masculine, but also not threatened by women as equals or women who are in positions of power. In fact, you can be cheerleaders for them. Notice the common theme here: taking a back seat, cheerleading. Like 5 different articles I read specifically use this word, cheerleading. Even a few about Kamala Harris's
femboy queen leading an empire. What if I wanna be the femboy emperor of humanity? What if that's what I want? What if it's a man who wants to lead the society into a brighter future with his femboy queen right next to him? But nobody talks about these topics.
Husband, Doug. God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy men in the news, and I think I found one. A lovable goofball who is happy to cheerlead for his wife, the Vice President of the US. Thank God for Doug Emhoff. Successful guys can support their wives and be respected. You don't have to be the quarterback to play the game at an elite level. Emhoff and his breed of dudes who are giving it their best shot may never be as come hither to lost young men as the militant Andrew Tate models of manhood, but they are out there.
By the way, I don't agree with people like Andrew Tate. Like, the solution to male loneliness is not promoting hate towards women. Like, you are not going to find a solution to your loneliness by promoting hate towards women. I'm sorry, but that's true. Same goes for femcells as well. Promoting hate towards men isn't going to solve female loneliness either. It won't. It just won't. But the thing is, like, the solution to male and female loneliness, honestly, is just talking to people, picking up social cues, and just, you know, I don't know, just trying your luck. Confidence is built upon rejections, and success is built upon failures.
There, and not unlike good husbands, will appear when they are needed. From the outside looking
will
in,
appear when
the
needed.
right
Fuck
promises
off.
young men a return to the good
I hate
times
this.
of the glorious past. You know, the one your grandfather had. The Coca-Cola ad rose-tinted version of the
When you had the opportunity to buy a fucking house with a part-time job at McDonald's. When you can be a loser but still own a house and have a family of 6. With the minimum wage.
Back when you can afford a house and support a family on one income. While the left, which historically, in my opinion, had the policies to make that happen, are instead trying to sell men a vision of the future. And well, the future is female. A future where you're no longer playing the game, men.
Yes, female, like the left. The left usually supports policies that makes it easier to buy a house, to get a job, to defend your rights. But for some reason, today, like for the past 10 years, the left just decided to go apeshit and stop listening to people. Like, what's wrong with you, man? Listen to people.
You're on the sidelines being a cheerleader. Doesn't that just sound so exciting? Like, what the hell is going on inside these DNC consultant meetings? I really gotta know.
I can be a cheerleader for men. I can be a cheerleader for men. You know, everybody needs a cute, wholesome femboy as a cheerleader. Everybody needs that. Everybody wants that.
Does anyone have any ideas on how to appeal to young men? And please, for the love of God, do not say we have to offer them anything or change in any way. I got it. What? Camo hats. We did that. Vasectomy bus. We did that.
Vasectomy bus? What the fuck? Huh?
Yes, we've been doing that. Say.
You don't need a vasectomy bus. If you are fucking a femboy. Well. No need for vasectomy buses if you're dicking down a femboy.
You know that whole male
Femboy,
loneliness
femboy.
epidemic thing?
Femboy,
Are you
femboy.
thinking what I'm thinking? Oh yeah.
A really nice place. Have you been here before?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. I bring everybody here.
If you don't vote for my team, I ain't gonna fuck you. But don't worry. Regardless of who you vote, the femboys
Hey
will
man, if you don't
happily
vote for
let you
Kamala Harris,
dick
women
them
won't
down.
fuck you. Brilliant.
Don't worry. Regardless of who you vote, the femboys will let you dick them down. Oh well. Femboy, femboy.
Young men should know that if you vote for Trump, you're basically never going to get laid. I mean, is it incorrect? Don't think so. Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris, get laid. They are not beating the
Isn't this
pretending to be
sexist?
progressive to get laid allegations
Woke
with this
fishing.
one. Literally just endorsing woke fishing. When men pretend to be more progressive on dating apps to get laid. Do not do this, by the way. Be open and honest about your opinions. And no, you cannot fix them. Also, pretty weird and like low-key
Don't try
sexist to
fixing
imply
people.
like women are some prize for voting the correct way.
People can only fix themselves. People cannot be fixed by others. That only happens in fiction. Keep the fiction and reality separate. You cannot fix them. Let them fix themselves. Go for someone
Hey,
who
and
isn't
if all
broken.
else fails, go after the gooner vote.
Oh! Sorry,
Cringe.
you can't
Cringe because that did not sound like a fanboy.
do that.
Cringe.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican
The Republican congressman wouldn't have minded him watching porn if it was fanboy porn.
congressman.
Everybody knows
Now
conservatives
that
love
we're
fucking
in charge,
fanboys.
we're banning porn nationwide.
I'm sorry. I love this ad. The
This is
one
hilarious.
time they speak to men directly, and it's, hey men, the Republicans are gonna take away one of the only vices you use to numb the pain. So vote for us. Bleak. Just the absolute state of the world right now. Also, was that Germa? Believe it or not, this wasn't the worst of it.
I'm a man. I'm a man.
That's a fine looking man.
I'm a man.
That's also a fine looking man.
I'm man enough to
I
enjoy
like
a
this
barrel-proof
big man.
bourbon. Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor?
I like these Midwestern
I'll tell you
plus
another thing I
size
sure as shit
men.
am not afraid of. Women.
When I first saw this, I thought it was a parody created by Republicans to
Even if you are afraid of women, it's okay. You don't need to afraid of you don't need to be afraid of
make
femboys.
fun of how hard the Democratic Party is trying to pander to men to get their vote. But alas,
I love women. I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
I love
women who
femboys.
take charge. And I'm man enough to
Femboys who
help
take
them
charge.
win.
And I am
everything from them directed
femboy enough to help men
towards
win.
men has to have like this tone of irony or self-deprecation. They can't even do it sincerely. But apparently, white men aren't the
You don't
only
feel
demographic
sincere.
Kamala is struggling with.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points.
Democrats deployed their ultimate weapon, Barack Obama. At a campaign stump for Harris on Thursday in Pittsburgh.
I want to watch Barack Obama fight against Trump in 2028. That'll be so fucking neat.
Obama said that despite Harris raising upward of $1 billion, we have yet to see the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. That lag in energy, he added, appears, quote, to be more pronounced with the brothers. You're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that, he said, because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman for president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. Once again, their only tactic seems to be getting in a man's face and going, tisk tisk bad boy. Like a dog that just peed on the carpet. It's not 2014
I was just going to...
anymore, Barack. Nobody cares about sexism, motherfucker. We can't afford groceries. What's crazy is, as far as I know, Kamala herself has never
Of course, just go around, approach men and just, you know, nag them about how they shouldn't do this, do that, you know, just police them, just police their entertainment. Never let men have any fun. That's one of the reasons why men didn't vote Democrats, by the way. The Democrats just became anti-fun for some reason. Just leave people alone, please.
Played the woman card. She has never played the sexism card. In fact, she actively pushes against it.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, honestly, complaining about sexism at this point is only going to cause her to lose votes. That's just a fact. Like complaining about, like, you know, using sexism, homophobia, transphobia as a shield for your failures is just, you know, it's just gonna get negative attention. And that negative attention is never worth it.
Well, I'm clearly a woman.
I'm clearly a
to
woman.
point that out to anyone. The point that most people really care about is, can you do the job? And do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I was proud. It's like they finally learned from Hillary Clinton's failure. But that didn't stop the media or Barack Obama from doing it for her. Thanks, Obama.
Thanks. So media and Barack Obama did it for her, so she can lose those votes regardless of what happens. Oh,
for oldie Zoomers, thanks Obama was a meme in like 2008. Yeah, it was funny back then. That would have slapped. While I was writing this video, Kamala and Gretchen Whitmore were getting ready to film a video at a bar together when Kamala was apparently caught on hot mic saying this.
Yeah. Oh, we have microphones in here. It's listening to
Microphone.
everything. I didn't realize that. Okay. So, well,
You'll
now
bleep
tell
my
us.
F words.
We just told.
They caught me saying N-words and other slurs like a COD player. Oh no.
Shit.
We need to move ground with men, so what we're gonna do is pretend.
They leaked my Call of Duty voice chats. Oh no. I'm going to lose votes. Actually, I'm gonna gain votes. Yep. Call of Duty voice chat is based.
Men to drink beer at a bar. Men like beer, right?
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers. Beer.
Just talk about policy. Just be yourself. Just listen to men and what they
She's
want.
so fucking
Kamala,
right.
all you gotta do is talk. Actually, no.
Yes, exactly. She's so right. I fully agree with this girl. I fully agree with Shonehead. Just talk. Just talk to men. Just listen to men. Just listen. Just talk. Just try to understand them. Just try to find solutions to their problems. It's not that hard, you know. Like my country's leftists are doing the same shit. Just listen to people. It's not that hard. Listen to them. Understand them. It's not hard. Like, just listen. Listen, 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 listen. Stop acting so high and mighty. Stop acting as if you know. Stop acting as if you know everything better than them. Stop acting as if you are better than them. Stop acting as if you know everything better than them. People know their problems better than you do. People know their problems, and your job is to find solutions to those problems. People know their problems. And people know their problems, and all you need to do is just talk to them to understand that. Talk to them. Go fucking outside and talk to them. Even if it means just going out, taking a stroll, and talking to random men on the street. Just go talk to them. Just try to understand them. Let them tell you their problems. Let them. It's not that hard. It's not asking for too much. It's not too much to ask for men. It's not too much to ask for leftists to just sit and listen to men. Just sit and listen to people's problems and represent them and find solutions to them like they did throughout the human history. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Now that I think about it, that might make it worse. Put Tim Walz out there, okay? Let Tim Walz do the talking. Don't dress him up as a man. You want to know how to speak to men? Go to where they are. A good place to speak to young men is the Joe Rogan podcast, which Kamala hinted at going on, but then that never happened, and instead Trump went on, and that episode hit like 20 million views in a day. But like, can you blame her? Joe Rogan is just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience.
Young male audience. You are losing votes in young male audience, and you are just not joining a podcast with male audience. What do women watch, by the way?
I hate it here. Every time this topic comes up, so does the topic of like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, internet algorithms, Gamergate, whatever.
There is a massive amount of right-wing radicalization that has been occurring.
Yes, in the entire world, there's a right-wing radicalization is happening. And like I said before, it's because of the insecurities and fears the men are facing, the insecurities and fears the leftists are keeping ignoring. The leftists are ignoring them so hard, they ended up losing the anti-establishment rhetoric to fucking alt-right. For some reason, alt-right is the anti-establishment candidate now. In Europe, at least. Like, what the fuck, man? How did alt-right become anti-establishment? How did left-wing fumble so fucking hard? Listen, just listen to men, understand their insecurities, understand their fears, and then find a solution to them. It's not that hard.
Especially in younger male spaces, any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out, whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic.
But you can only blame internet algorithms for so much.
Charisma is important, by the way. The left-wing, all around the world, left-wingers are having issues in producing left-wing candidates.
For so long. This automatic assumption that any dissent from liberal mainstream thought could only be caused by manipulation or brainwashing from podcasters is honestly a cope, in my opinion, and just an easy excuse for failing to reach anyone beyond your own subreddit. As if this all wasn't the result of like a stagnant neoliberal corpo hell world that created a vacuum.
Ah, yes. A technocratic corpo hell world, just like Cyberpunk, without the cool shit like, you know, mantis blades or robotic legs or like, you know, immersive VR porn. Yep.
That was just waiting to be filled with any kind of populism. The crazy thing is, the Democratic Party did have a candidate who successfully spoke to the demographic that they are currently trying so hard to reach. His name was Bernie Sanders. And every time he did speak to that demographic, or say he was concerned that the Democratic Party didn't do enough to speak to that demographic, he was called a sexist, a racist, he was
They're not even not trying to speak to that demographic. They are actively demonizing it. Don't do that. Just speak to them.
Stabbed multiple times and cheated out of winning the Democratic primaries. His fans were called Bernie Bros and constantly berated as sexists and misogynists. His campaign was too white.
Of course, giving a fuck about the male loneliness means you are sexist and misogynist. It's okay, the fanboys will never call you a sexist or a misogynist. They will. Fanboy.
Too male, and this apparently was a top priority to remedy in future campaigns. We were told he was just like Trump and, quote, appeal to angry white men. Well, who's trying to appeal to angry white men now, bitch? It's almost like Bernie's hyper-focus on working-class issues, bread and butter issues, and populism was naturally attractive to men. No football or beer required. I miss him. And you know what? Maybe this shift with young men has less to do with who's holding the football and more of what happens when the DNC spends all their time and energy trashing the little bit of populism in their movement. And if you ask me, handing conservatives a monopoly on anti-establishment rhetoric on a silver platter was probably their first mistake. They kind of gave up on that bread and butter New Deal stuff for identity politics, and if you deny this, you are either lying or coping. The physical manifestation of the left has gone from the vision of the blue-collar union worker to a nagging, scolding fat woman with blue hair, barging into everyone's spaces and culturally colonizing.
Ah, yes. This blue-haired woman just culturally colonizing men's spaces. I mean, that's the main problem. Like, that's why there's a lot of anti-woke sentiment in the gaming and anime community. Like, the leftists are actively trying to change the culture, like the local culture, and the locals don't like it. Like, it's not necessarily homophobia or transphobia. Like, in anime and in gaming community, trans people and, like, I don't know, women, gay people always existed. But for some reason, you are going around and starting a culture war out of nothing. You are just going around and starting a culture war. And for what? Like, just to have control over these people? Man, come on, just leave these people alone. Let people have their fun. Let people have their little gay Zoom call in peace. Jesus.
Them. Change this, change that. I don't like this, I don't like that. It's just incredible for me to witness years of anti-male rhetoric finally come back to bite the left and Democrats in the ass. Watching these chickens come home to roost has just been both incredibly depressing and deliciously vindicating to me in a sick way, and I'm not sure if I should lend out a helping hand or Mufasa them off this fucking cliff. Some Democrats are nervous the party was too late to realize the problem. These Democrats worry that the party has focused too much on courting women voters, LGBTQ voters, and culturally progressive voters, alienating too many men in the process. There's a recognition that we're losing men, and the things we're doing around men haven't been working. I think a lot of it is a reaction to social progressivism done the wrong way, says David Hogg. Young men, he says, feel like progressives look down on them for saying the wrong thing,
yes.
Even when it's
stop looking at people. Stop looking down on people. That's a prime way to lose votes.
Mistake. That discomfort is enough to drive them away from the Democratic Party, even if they don't necessarily agree with Republicans. They would rather be around someone they don't agree with who doesn't.
People would rather be around someone that they disagree with, who doesn't judge them, instead of somebody they agree with who judges them constantly for existing, for their skin color, for the things they were born with, like being a white man.
Judge them than somebody they do agree with who judges them constantly. Men aren't moving right because they are choosing fascism. They are moving right because the left made them the.
Apparently there are quite a lot of fascist fanboys out here. I need to find one. I wonder if they are cute.
Villains in their anime fan fiction. It's not that they all like Trump, it's that they all hate you, and no amount of camo hats is going to fix that. But do not get it twisted. I do not in any way, shape, or form believe the GOP is going to help men. I don't think they're going to help anyone.
They ain't gonna help
Except
anyone.
maybe Israel. Do I think all of the left is some hyper
And
woke
Democrats
fat
are
lady
ignoring
wagging
men
her
too.
finger in men's faces like no fun allowed? No. If I did, I wouldn't call myself left-wing. I'm not a Democrat, I'm a registered independent. But the Democratic Party is historically better on policy, and despite their
I agree with
messaging,
her.
even when it comes to helping men. Healthcare, higher wages, paid family leave, labor protection, social security, things Republicans have always fought against. And I think that's why this is extra frustrating to me. I don't say this with any
Democrats are the ones who usually, left-wingers are usually the ones who listen to people's problems. But for some reason they are ignoring men, young men. Stop ignoring them.
Love for the Republican Party. In fact, if anything, I say it with love for the Democratic Party. I fucking hate them, but deep down, I wish they could be better. I'm doing this for your own good. Shh. Go sleep, go sleep, shh. Go sleep, I love you, go sleep. I just hope that whether Kamala wins or loses, the party can take a step back and evaluate what they're doing wrong. Because I don't think the Democratic Party should be the party.
I'm kinda happy that Kamala lost, to be honest. Now, they can sit and reevaluate their mistakes. I hope the Democrats came up with the right conclusion as to why they lost, instead of blaming the wrong group of people and completely ruining their party.
For the gays and women. I think the Democratic Party should be the party for everyone.
Not only gays and women.
Including angry women.
I'm saying this as someone who's queer. It shouldn't be only for gays and women. It should be the party of people. It should be the party of everybody.
White men. So in your opinion, what could the Democratic Party do to win back young men? Can they do anything? Are they fucked? To me, it might take decades of work to fix.
Distribute free femboys among young men. Seize the femboys of production. That's how you might win the, what you say, straight white men vote. Yep.
The culture, the rot that infests the progressive ideology. It is going to take a lot of work to fix, but I think it's worth it, not just for the Democratic Party's sake, but just for society's sake. If you like this video, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it so much. Also, thank you for 2 million subscribers. That's insane. And I will see you guys with a new video soon. Bye!
Bye-bye. Like and subscribe. Boo-boo. Femboy.